So I stopped making YouTube videos, and honestly, for a while, I thought I wouldn't come back. I used to look at my old content and just cringe. I used to go out of my way to find whatever flaws I could. In response, I started hyper editing everything, obsessing over views and likes, wondering if the hours of work I put in even mattered. I slowly started losing the point of why I started this channel in the first place. But I realized something. The real reason why I stopped making videos wasn't from what I originally thought at first. The real reason is why everything feels so fake now. The same reason your friends are scrolling on their phones at the bar. The same reason Instagram went from a place to connect with the homies to some soulless highlight reel competition. Something switched after 2020, and I'm not just talking about myself. It happened to all of us. So after so long, I'm coming back. But not to chase interactions. Not to create some perfect page. But to just talk about what the fuck happened. Because we all feel it, but no one's saying it. So let's go back to the beginning. Why I even started making videos. It was pure. I simply wanted to connect with all my friends and start an online community. Make them laugh. Post some chaotic impulsive shit that would get me roasted in the group chat the next day. This was evident in all my social media platforms at the time. I just didn't care if it was embarrassing. And if you had any of my socials at this time, you should know especially, those were some special times. We were connecting and sparking conversations all the time. But somewhere along that way, something shifted. Out of nowhere, I started worrying about my image. I started thinking, what if I say the wrong thing? What if I damage my internet life and lose connections with people? I became so worried about getting canceled and making everything perfect that I unknowingly put myself in a box. And once I was in that box, everything felt cringe. I would finish editing or recording a video, and honestly, I would hate it. So many videos ended up stranded in my project folders. Why? Because it didn't feel like me anymore. So I would edit more and add more, hyper editing every little thing to compete with the algorithm. And as a result, I lost my raw energy, my character. You remember how Zendaya's old Instagram posts used to have so much personality and rawness? And now you look at her page and it's just curated? That's exactly what happened to my videos. I was trying so hard to impress strangers that I forgot I started this to connect with the people who actually knew me and to start an online community. So yeah, I had to stop because I lost myself. And what made it worse was that I actually started caring about the numbers, the views, the likes, all of it. On every platform, anytime I posted. Every video I uploaded, I would check stats daily, wondering if anyone even cared. My friend said it best. Not liking poster stories is a trend now. Everyone bought into the nonchalant shit. And I find myself doing the same thing to other people's content. Instagram became this weird game where people only add you to boost their follower count. Well, at least that's how it feels like in LA. I don't know if it's different anywhere else. But you meet someone at a party, concert, event, whatever, chat for an hour about shared interests, and then they either ignore you after following, unfollow quickly, or straight up block you. Imagine you get the urge to meet someone at a bar and all you get from it is this fake connection as fragile as a paper plane in a hurricane. It's all fake promises of connection. But really, they're just playing the number game too. And here's the thing, it's not just happening to me. This is happening to everyone. So now let's talk about it. What the fuck happened after 2020? How did we get here? Well, let's rewind to late 2019. No one was expecting a worldwide shutdown. I still remember telling my high school classmates, like, see you in a week, bro. But when COVID hit, everything shifted to online. Jobs, school, shopping, entertainment, literally everything. You did not have to have face-to-face interactions with anyone. And for a while, things felt good. Video games were at their peak, well, at least for the past 6 years. But everyone was online. All my friends were on Warzone or Fortnite. 2K20 felt like the best 2K ever released. Rainbow Six had a resurgence. And y'all remember Among Us and Fall Guys. Like, I don't really have to explain that. But honestly, this was a very nostalgic era for gaming. Nowadays, most games don't have that character. Graphics are killer, game is filler. But here's what we didn't see coming. We forgot how to talk to each other. During quarantine, I went days without talking to anyone face to face. All my interactions were through my phone. Like, besides talking to my brother or my mom, this was like a death on being present. And to be honest, this was kind of a depressing era for myself. It was probably like that for others too. Let me know if you went through the same depressive state in the comments. Anyways, though, we were all interacting through our phone. And what did this do? It grew our addiction to our screens because that's where everything was happening. News, entertainment, daily essentials like groceries or food, and even work and school. When the shutdown ended and I switched back to in-person classes, I struggled bad. Making friends felt harder than ever. I was on campus and it felt like my first day at elementary school. All over again, like seriously. At first I thought I just stood out too much, but I realized I've always stood out. The facts are, we forgot how to connect face to face, or at least we got too comfortable doing it through our devices instead. And it wasn't just me. Go outside right now and just observe your surroundings. Every time I drive near the city, I see countless people distracted on their phones in traffic. At local jobs too. I work as a front of house employee at a restaurant, so I see a lot of this every day. Zombie ass customers ordering with their phones out, barely making eye contact, talking on the phone or scrolling, texting, or whatever they want to do to distract themselves from physical interactions. It low-key pisses me off. I find it disrespectful. But it happens literally every day. You might even see it at your own workplace. I went to visit my grandparents recently. Never would I have imagined seeing my grandparents doom scrolling through TikTok. Like, what COVID did was it overwrote good habits. I don't know about you guys, but my mom would limit my screen time and even take my phone away during bedtime. Well, those days are probably gone in the parenting world. It's not acceptable or even expected to be on your device all day. The average screen time is over 7 hours. Some of us aren't even getting 7 hours of sleep. My average screen time this week is 5.5 hours. Still not something to boast about, but cutting screen time is one of my huge goals this year. So I hope to continue working on it. So while gaming's regressed since 2020, which we won't talk about now, social media changed completely. Instagram in 2013 felt like a genuine way to stay connected with your friends. Share your everyday activities, spark up conversation, and don't get me wrong, there are still some folk who use it like that, but it was more aligned with its main goal, which was connection. But now it feels more like a competition. Everyone's trying to create some perfect page to become some internet celebrity or boost their brand. It lost its community feel because the market changed. Instagram now promotes creators to constantly create content. The evil algorithm further kills creativity. It lost its magic it once had, its character. And honestly, there's a lot of things missing character nowadays, from fashion trends to music, but again, I'll have to say that for another video. The worst part of all this is I fell victim to all of it too. When I was growing up, even though we had the technology, when I was with my friends, we wouldn't use it much. We would boot it up at home, yeah, sure. Like playing the Wii or watching Prime YouTube on those big ass computers everyone's grandma had for some reason. We would try to stay in the moment. I love that about us early Gen Z. Most of us still had a sense of how to talk to people and live in the moment, in the physical world. Just being present. So, of course, it's easy for some of us to feel lost in this world that feels so foreign to our precious early 2000 days. But post COVID, I find myself doom scrolling with my friends every so often. Shit, I can type my phone password and open an app up without even looking at my screen. And I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I just grab my phone and check my notifications or just open it as a reflex. And let me tell you, I hate it. To me, it is absolutely diminishing to my character. It feels like stimulation torture, but its addictive nature makes us numb to it, like some sort of drug. It probably could be compared to a drug, to be honest. But we just accept it and move on. I was scrolling on Instagram the other day and I realized that my type is now all over my explore page. And sex sells. You know, it's been selling for centuries, but the algorithm knows exactly what you want, exactly when you're weak, and it will serve it to you on a silver platter. These supercomputers, they follow you around everywhere, learning everything about you. And even when you know this, it's still hard to escape. It literally feels like a workout, pulling myself away from the content sometimes. And you know what? It probably is. But I'll go search for something specific and see something else that spikes my interest. Now all of a sudden, I'm looking at this other person's page, and that somehow leads me to watching two African wrestlers in a mud ring slamming each other. And then by the time I know it, I completely forgot why I was on the app in the first place. To be honest with you, I literally lost my train of thought right now writing this shit because I started scrolling. You know, but I don't like talking about social media all day or celebrities' lives. And it's crazy how many people have adapted gooner mindsets nowadays. I'll go into a girl's TikTok comments about a rant, and in the comment section, it'll be nothing but freaked out men just commenting wildly disturbing things they would never have the balls to say to her face. Just straight up feeding egos, pulling blindfolded half-court shots, making the game look like deep threes are the normal shot nowadays. After COVID, my pages started feeling less like a community and more like a cage with judging eyes. That's not really targeted at anyone. It's just how it felt. And that's just not me. And honestly, part of the reason I came back is because I don't want my 20s to fly by while I aimlessly stare into an ocean of infinite content. I don't want to waste my time, energy, and opportunity, especially when I have fresh video ideas like this one on my mind. But reflecting on all of this now, fuck what they gotta say. I was so worried about saying the wrong things, making everything perfect, trying not to get canceled, but I realized this was just putting me into a box. Kind of like how staring into a light box for 7+ hours a day would. And seriously, getting into and creating punk music made me realize that it's okay for art to be raw, expressive, and imperfect. So here's what I learned. I can't fall into the views trap again. And neither should you. The most beautiful part about making art isn't the outcome. It's the creation, the thought process, the struggle, then releasing it into the world. But the outcome? You'll never guess the outcome. The outcome is unknown and irrelevant. Let me tell you about Vincent van Gogh, the creator of Starry Night. He poured his intense emotions and personal struggles into every piece of art he ever made. He produced his best work while in a mental asylum. He lived most of his life in poverty, and during his entire lifetime, he only sold one painting. He died at 37, never knowing that his work would become some of the most celebrated art in human history. He went his whole life as an unknown artist, but after his death, his work became legendary, and the art he created is still deeply appreciated to this day. And that's what I mean when I say process over outcome. The process of creating something and sharing it, That's precious enough in its own. It doesn't need the validation of hundreds or thousands of people to be special. And that's something I need to acknowledge and work on. So I'm coming back. Not to chase numbers, not to curate some perfect page, but to create, to connect, to be present. And I think we can all use a reset, focusing more on what happens in front of us, forcing ourselves to go out there and make genuine connections, forcing ourselves to not take cheap dopamine hits by checking our phones every 3 minutes. That's what builds community, relationships, people skills. I believe if Gen Z can get out and support small businesses more, push for more community spaces that doesn't have to include drugs, actually be present with each other instead of staying at home and scrolling by yourself, we might see some real change. Maybe stores will stay open later. Maybe we'll revive nightlife, reform it. Maybe McDonald's will bring back those in-store gaming stations they used to have in the early 2000s. I don't know if I'm getting too old, but they were there when I was young. But how things are right now, this may seem like a relic of the past as we step into this new world of easily accessible devices that drain our social batteries and discourage building in-person connections. Good luck to Alpha Gym, by the way. They're the real iPad kids. They're gonna need it. I just wonder if humanity will continue giving so much energy staring at these rectangular black holes, eating away our comprehension, conversation skills, creativity, empathy, and our souls. But I'm done being part of the problem. I'm here to create. I'm here to connect. And I hope you are too. Until next time.
Will we have air support? What? Are you kidding? You are the support!